Hello everyone, my name's Izzy, this is Rolling Bridger Cards, got you with another video. Today, just hopping into Nintendo's Life 50 Best Game Boy Color Games of All Time, okay? It's recently been updated. They like to update this and keep it kind of changed throughout the time periods. But you know, I really much enjoy these retro games because yeah, Game Boy Color is pretty retro nowadays. And I find the simplicity of them can be really good. I've been playing a lot of them recently just to test them out, see what I like, see what I don't like. And I thought I'd just go through the top 50 and see what we get. See if there's any games I can recommend to those retro players out there. Here's my cat Tax here. She's going to be constantly jumping up out of nowhere because she is a little diva who just wants all my attention all the time until she doesn't. And so throughout this video, you will see her jump up and you will hear her go clink. Deal with it, I guess. Let's get into this. So number 50 here is Mr. Drill Game Boy Color. Mr. Driller is actually a really fun puzzle game. If you take it from back when it came out in the 2000s, right, you really do get this nice, quick little game that you can play on the go, right? You're a kid in the back seat of the car as you're driving on your family road trip, or you're on the bus on your way to school, or nowadays even, like let's say you're a retro player and you take public transportation to work, or you have a job where either you work from home or some other type of situation where you do have time to play the game. And what this does, what this really does for you, honestly, is just give you a really nice little puzzle game. The whole point of this game is to just drill down, as the name implies, as you go through different levels, and it gets harder. You have an oxygen meter, so you got to collect air as you go down and not get squished. It's a fun puzzle game. Highly suggest it for anyone who's never played it. And if you're just looking for a nice little fun game, I do highly encourage being a seafaring individual on your phone and just getting it on your phone. I'm not going to tell you how to do so, but you can, and it's fun. To just play this on your phone for a little bit. Honestly, it's more fun than playing some of the phone games nowadays. There won't be ads either. Duke Nukem GBC. Okay, so Duke Nukem is a very interesting game. I think it's a little archaic, but it's not bad, okay? It is a port of the Duke Nukem 2, but really reworked to make it 8 bits. So it's got like the same story, but there's a lot of times where you will get hits. This is my cat still down here trying to get attention, okay? But there are times where you will get hits down here unfairly, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just kind of have to take the hit. There is annoying knockback, like in a lot of these types of games. But overall, I would say it's a kind of enjoyable game. I don't think it's bad. It's a fine platformer. Next is Perfect Dark GBA. This is one of those games where you're going to be doing top-down shooting. It's like isometric view, and it's not bad. If you like the Perfect Dark universe, the 3 games I think that are involved with it, this is not a bad, this being like the third one, or I guess the second one. It's not bad. I think it's a very fun game. If you like those, like the retro Metal Gear games, this is going to give you that feeling. And I like those types of games. I think they're interesting. I think overall you really get this nice, well-paced game. And the simplicity of the system and hardware adds to the charm of this game. So I honestly would suggest it for anyone who likes classic Metal Gear style games. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I have not got to try this one out. Give me a second to do some research. Okay, back. The research I have done has led me to see that this game is actually an RPG. You know, I think that is the perfect spot to put Harry Potter games. And it's going to be that Game Boy Color style RPG. And honestly, I think that's pretty fun. I always like those types of games for movie tie-ins, non-action movie tie-ins, because I think you can really get a lot of mileage out of turn-based RPGs, and this is definitely one of them. Okay, I'm gonna have to say, this is a game to check out if you like the Harry Potter franchise, and you're a fan of this, like, of those classic NES, SNES, GBA style RPGs, like turn-based RPGs. This is a game for you. Okay, take a look at it. Great to just, like, again on your phone playing the game, save states, speed up for grinding. There's also a card mechanic in it. If you don't like card mechanics, then I guess avoid that setting, the game. I love card games. Huge Magic the Gathering fan, so I might actually take more of a look at this at some point in time. Okay, Legacy Super Warriors. These games are really fun. I can't complain about them. They're just, like, interesting games that really give you that, hey, I wanted to play a Dragon Ball Z game on my Game Boy Advance, but what do? That's my cat again. In the same suit as Harry Potter is, this is another card deck game, but it's an RPG. Has a lot of the parts. I think it just I think it goes through the Cell Saga, and it's fun. Honestly, again, I love old Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color RPGs. I think it was one of the best systems to do them in because you don't need to really push the system. You just need to make the layout of the game make sense. So I would highly suggest anyone who wants to, like, test out or play classic RPGs to give both these a chance. Which one's better? I honestly just think it depends on if you like Harry Potter or Dragon Ball Z more. Legend of the River King 2. Okay, let's take a quick look at this one. Okay, so Legend of the River King 2 is yet another RPG, but this one's unique. Instead of a deck builder like the previous two, this one's going to really give you an interesting fishing farm game. So you go fishing. The fishing has its own mini game, which is actually really fun. But it's all about fishing, selling those fish, getting more money. Almost a life sim, but there is RPG mechanics in it. And so with that, I honestly think it's a fun RPG. And also the fact that there's a fun mini game to be had where you actually fish for the, like, once you fish, you actually go into a game to capture the fish, makes it interesting. You have to get good at that and the RPG mechanics of the game to really push that next level. Pac-Man Super Color Edition. This is Pac-Man. It's a collection of a few Pac-Man games, and I think it's Pac-Man. If you like Pac-Man but on the go, this is a great way to play it. A Legend of the River King. This is just like Legend of the River King 2, but it's the original one. So having not played either one, I'm not sure which one might be great. According to them, let's see, might be a short ride, but it's highly entertaining with its while it's lasts. There aren't a huge amount of fishing-focused RPGs out there, for shame. Not every RPG has to be 200 this way. Okay, so they're just saying this game's like a little less. I guess the add-ons for the second game, according to them, aren't necessarily a plus. Maybe it's just a neutral. Some might even be a negative, making it a little bit more complicated. Either way, I would test out both, honestly. I like playing games in chronological order, so I would take a look at both if I were you. And if you really like fishing, but you like RPGs, personally, I love really weird, obscure RPGs. Next is Mega Man Extreme, and yeah, okay, as long as you can deal with the crunch, it's not bad. It's just a portable version of Mega Man X. But, like, yeah, it has its downsides because of the crunch. I honestly would probably put this lower than the rest because I hate screen crunch on my platformers. Anything that makes you have to take jumps, leaps of faith, just turn me off. They just make me go, I don't want to do this. So yeah, I mean, I just don't think platformers were best. 2D platformers were not the best on the Game Boy system. I think it took till the Game Boy Advance, for the most part, for them to realize screen crunching sucks. Street Fighter Warrior's Dream. This is just a Street Fighter game. This is Street Fighter Alpha, and guess what? It's not bad. If you're looking for like a fighting game, in your hand, I guess it's not bad, but I like fighting games for multiplayer. I think the only fighting game I've ever gotten into for single player that wasn't like Smash Bros. Was Soul Calibur. I like Soul Calibur's fighting system, and I think it's fun. And if you want to include the Budokai Tenkaichi series, which I don't think they're fighting games. But yeah, again, I just don't think I'd put this higher than the RPGs. Sometimes RPGs can be archaic, but this fighting game just, even in the thing, it's a big step down from the original arcade. Again, ports to the Game Boy Color, I get it. Like, yeah, let's give them a fighting game. But honestly, like, is it worth it? I don't know. Bionic Commander, this is a great platformer. Any Bionic Commander game is fun. I like them. I think they're interesting. Okay, I think they had done like a reimagining of it once, and it was awful. But like this, it's going to be your classic RPG mechanics. Or not RPGs, your classic platform mechanics, and I like platformers. I think they're simple, they're fun, they work with the D-pad. So I honestly, if you like the Bionic Commander series, or if you just like straightforward platformers, this is going to be one to test out. And the screen crunch isn't bad on this one at all, so I would highly suggest it. So, next is Toki Taro. Yeah, this is another one of those just, or Toki Tari. This is just another one of those classic RPGs. I keep saying RPGs. I mean platformers. And yeah, if you like classic Game Boy Color platformers, I'd highly suggest testing this one out. I don't think it's too complicated. I think it really just fits the mold of it's level based. So you can beat a level and you can just continue on like with your work or whatever. Whatever you kind of like want to do. There's some puzzle parts of this game, which is fun. Puzzle platformers are fun. Mega Man X Extreme 2. This is just Mega Man X, again, moved down. But they do work a lot in the screen crunch on this game, so it's a little better. But still, yeah. If you like the Mega Man games, I guess that's fine. But, okay, I don't like portable Mega Man games. I'd rather just play the non-portable ones. Just because I think these ones really don't hold up as well. But that being said, they're not awful. I guess, here's the thing. If you give it a try on your phone, and just play the first level, and if you don't think the screen crunch and the gameplay is lackluster, play it. It's got about the same power as a SNES, or as a NES, if not a little bit more. It's just not as powerful as the SNES. So taking a SNES game and putting on the GBC, you're gonna have some downgrades. So it's not as good as Mega Man X2, but it's not as bad as you might think. So I don't know, give it a try. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I double checking this one again. Okay, I looked into it, and yeah, it's 100%. It's just the sequel to the first game. It's another RPG. It looks a lot better. I'll give you that. And I can't say it's a better story. I don't know which one I like better. I think they're both pretty equal, honestly, story-wise. But yeah, it just also looks like it added a lot of mini games to this situation, which are fine. Mini games on the GBA are very limited, and as long as they're not frustrating, they can be fine. But it goes to the story. It looks like more closely than the first one of these, which is cool. So yeah, if you like card-based, semi-card-based RPGs, there's a card system, but you don't like you. There's also spells, so I think they're fun. I like the games. I think they're interesting. This is just another very classic RPG. Very classic RPG series. I would highly suggest taking a look at it. Lufia, The Legend Returns is honestly, I would just solid RPG. Much better than the other ones. There's no cards to be worried about. This is just a simple, good RPG. So I'd highly take a look. Crystal. Now this, or Crystalis. This is a port of a NES game, and I grew up playing this one. Out of all of these, I really did grow up playing this one. Mind you, I played Sorcerer's Stone, and I think I played Chamber of Secrets. It has just been years, so I needed to double check, because I've played, like, every single version of those games, and there's, like, too many versions of those games. But with Crystales, I remember this game fondly. This game is fantastic, okay? It's a great action RPG. It is hard as heck. There is unfortunately screen crunch, so some of the bosses are a lot harder on here than on the NES. But the game looks better than the NES. And this is just a fun game. Like, if you like The Legend of Zelda, take a look at this game. You won't be disappointed. I think this is probably one of my favorite games on the Game Boy Color. Like, that's just like a hidden gem. It's super fun. Okay, Mickey's Racing Adventure. Did this become a... Okay, yeah. This is just a racing game with different variations of racing. I don't know if they added RPG mechanics to it. Let me check that for you. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't seem to have any RPG mechanics, but it does, I like it says here, take inspiration from Diddy Kong Racing, and the fact that, like, it has, or I don't know if it's inspiration, but, like, it has racing, but then also adventure. So you're going to be traveling around the map to find new locations and collect some stuff. Okay, so this all really just depends on if you like Game Boy Color racing games. Right? Like, isometric racing games. And I hate the Super Mario Kart and Super Mario Kart Circuit games. I do not like them. This one seems to be a little bit more zoomed out, which I think, it's their reference to the Super RC Pro-Am game series where, like, you're zoomed out isometric, and I think that might make this work. And, like, if you don't have to worry about turning, it's like one of the biggest issues is, like, okay, if this is more like straightforward and, like, you can just move around the track and it's straight, I will enjoy that. But honestly, I've never cared for racing games. Maybe if there's more strategy to it, but I'm just gonna have to say that, like, let me go watch some gameplay. Okay, I can say for certain this game just doesn't look like it's fun. The gameplay I was seeing is a majority of it isn't even racing. It is a lot of just wandering around as different Disney characters trying to gather money so that you can upgrade your vehicles. And the racing looks like it might take a bit to get used to, because with just a D-pad, I'm not sure how making those turns is gonna feel. This is just not the type of racing game I like on Game Boy Color. It's just, most of the time they don't feel like they turn right, because you don't have an analog stick. Rayman, this game's classic. I mean, what can I say? Other than there was screen crunch on the PS1 version of this game. Next. Harvest Moon GBC. Yes, 100%. I love Harvest Moon games. I think they're really fun. They can be archaic and not very well explained on what you need to do. But if you save state a lot, they're fine. I think they're fine. You can make mistakes and then just reload your save states. So basically, if you've played Stardew Valley and all the great advantages that game gives you, like, you can compact all your plants into one spot. You can't do that in old Harvest Moon games because you can't walk across your plants as they're growing. This is obvious sense in farming, but like newer games get rid of it because it's a dumb thing. Sometimes obvious sense shouldn't be in video games because it ruins the feel of the game. That being said, if you like farming sims and the simple repetitiveness of like, yeah, there's adventure sometimes because there's some parts you need to do, but most of it's just, let me go to town, get some plants, plant the stuff. I don't have money, so I'm just going to be going through the day of cleaning up my farm, watering my plants, and then when I have a little extra energy, I'm going to go to town, talk to some people. It's just a life sim. And I like life sims. And a lot of life sims on your phone, for phone games, you need to pay for. With not fun pay for, mind you. No, we're talking like boring pay for. We're talking like, oh, what am I gonna do here? Yeah, you're just gonna sit here and you're gonna just give us money to continue playing the game. But I don't want to. Well, you don't get a choice. Okay, I guess that is fair. So, yeah, I honestly just think that Harvest Moon games are great. Importing it portably is even more fun. Harvest Moon 2, again, it's just like 1, but just adds some more life upgrades that just make it more fun. Kirby Tilt and Tumble. This one doesn't work on the phone sometimes, most of the time, and it's fine. I think it's a very unique game overall. But, like, if you're putting it up here just because it's unique and groundbreaking, but, like, is it actually fun to play? No, I don't think it is. I've played it once or twice when I worked at a game store. I don't like motion controls, usually. Gimmicky motion controls like this. Survival Kid. Is this? Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is the Legend of Zelda style game. With some interesting, like, gathering mechanics. I think this is fun. I think, again, if you like Zelda adventure games, Game Boy Color had a handful of these. They're, like a lot of Zelda games, very archaic, like older Zelda games, kind of archaic, where, like the original NES game doesn't tell, like, NES, Zelda game doesn't tell you what the heck to do, and this is that same thing here. You don't really know what you're doing, you have to talk to people, and it's RPG not due to a lot of the mechanics, but due to that Zelda feel of, like, you are playing this kid trying to survive, go gather your materials, or your items, the quest items to survive. I think this is a very fun game, and I highly suggest anyone who likes these types of games to play it, and again, like, save states really make these types of games fun. Harvest Moon 3, this just highly pumps up the playability of the previous games. But each one is fun to play. I think each one has its own little feel. And I would suggest playing through all of them if you enjoy playing them. Warlock. I probably know stuff about this game. Let me go double check what it is. I have heard of this game, okay? It's been a while. This is an RTS on the Game Boy Color. Yeah, let that sink in. Two different races. You have the humans and the beasts. And, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to state, I think that's interesting. I think it's kind of cool because there's different missions and you're trying to beat those missions. So like, yeah, I like it was giving me like Civilization vibes, or I guess like Age of Empire vibes, which is fair because it's an RTS, but just like very dumbed down. But that's okay. It's one of those games that you're gonna have to learn how it works. But once you do, it's probably pretty fun to run through. Um, I like strategy games. I like strategy games on the Game Boy Color. I think the art style is actually pretty cool and simplistic. And so I suggest this one to anyone who likes real-time strategy games. It doesn't look like the real-time is that stressful, though, which I like. R-typed DX. Oh, okay, this is a shmup. Oh, here's my cat coming to make a lot of noise. Sorry, headphone users, but I will repay the punishment with this cute kitty cat. And now she's going down. Plop. You are okay. Yeah, this is a shmup. I mean, like, if you like shmups, play it. I think shmups are fun for a little bit. I get frustrated with them pretty fast. Save states makes me play shmups better, or more. And, yeah, here's what I'm gonna say, okay? R-Type is fine. I think the games are fine. Side-scrolling shmups are fine. And yeah, they're level-based. So with save states, you can just quickly save state and go back to your work or hanging out with people or whatever. I like that. I think this will be fun. Game & Watch Gallery 3. I don't like these. I don't like Game & Watch games. I don't like the limitations of them. I find them pretty boring most of the time. So I think these are probably better ways to play them just because you get the Mario sprites in a lot of these. But honestly, I can't in good faith tell people to play these. I find them very boring. Hamtaro. This is an RPG adventure, I believe. Let me double check. This is not an RPG. This is just an adventure game. I'm gonna have to say, yeah, if you like adventure games, this isn't bad. It has that, like, you need specific things to be able to unlock this character, to be able to continue the games. You have to go find that stuff. So this is all adventure. No action, no RPG. There's a few mini games, but honestly, it's just an adventure game. And you play as a cute hamster. Enough said. I don't like the Game & Watch games. Moving on. Shadowgate Classic. Yeah. Okay, I like Shadowgate. I think it's a great game. I think the port's perfectly fine. To explain it more to people, I played it on the NES. I played it the NES version, not on the NES. I'm not old enough to... I mean, I think I mainly grew up on the SNES and the 64. But, like, yeah, if you like classic dungeon crawlers where it's first perspective and you're just wandering through dungeons, this is great. I think they're fun. You just need to be patient. As long as you're patient, the game's very fun. It's slow-paced, it's text-heavy, and it's just a lot of, like, take your time. Enjoy your game. Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, this is great. I think this is one of the best puzzle games out there on the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and I highly suggest testing it out, honestly. And I love Pokemon games, so I think it's cute. Pokemon Pinball, same thing. Pokemon Pinball is great. I love pinball games. If you don't like pinball, don't touch this game. But I love pinball, and it's very unique as to what they do with the capturing of the Pokemon. Yeah, I could just play this game forever. Mario Golf, this is great. This is an RPG. But not only is it an RPG, right? Not only is it an RPG, it's also a really good golf game. Because the way they do it isn't dumb. It's just got classic golf mechanics. Highly suggest this game. Honestly, I'm glad it made the top 20. We'll see if the games past this are better than it. But this is a fantastic playthrough. Again, more cat. I'll just hold her for a bit because she likes to be held. Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, this is Donkey Country. Not to be confused with Donkey Kong Land. Okay? Kitty cat. Donkey Kong Land was a Game Boy game, and it used similar assets, but it wasn't the same. This is just a 8-bit version of the 16-bit game with screen crunch. Ah! I don't like screen crunch. I really don't like screen crunch. I don't, but I love the Donkey Kong Country game, so give it a chance. If the screen crunch bothers you, move on. Shantae, okay, Shantae is good. I love all Shantae games. Pirate's Booty is the best one. Because the only issue with Shantae games is the transformations because they take forever. She's got to do a little dance, and I hate slow down in my games. But it's great. I love the art style. I think they did a lot with just the 8-bit. Look, play it. If you like RPGs, just play this game, okay? Dragon Warrior 1 and 2, 100%. These games are great. Dragon Warrior is a great game. They're fantastic RPGs, okay? I'm very excited to be getting... I think we're getting that? Let me double check. Just so I can get my facts right. Dragon Warrior is the same thing as Dragon Quest. Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 is what they called it in the US. Dragon Quest is what they called it in Japan. So the Dragon Quest games and the Dragon Warrior games are the same. We just got Dragon Quest 3 HD Remake, and we're getting Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remake bundle. I am excited. I wanted to play the remake of 3, but I wanted to play 1 and 2. I think these games are fine on the NES. I think they're better on the Game Boy Color because I think they look a little better, honestly. But the remakes look even better, and I'm going to hold out till that. It looks like it's going to be a decent price. It's HD 2D remake, and I'm excited to play them, honestly. I think they'll be really fun to play, and then I'm going to play the third one. I know the third one's more popular because it has more stuff added to it, but I think the remakes of 1 and 2 are going to be great to play, and I like playing games in order, so this is a great way to play them. It's both 1 and 2 at once. I honestly suggest that over the NES version of the games. Just know it's a guide game. You're not going to know what to do without a guide. Pokemon Trading Card Game. This game's great. It takes a second to learn. Learn the game, understand the game, beat the game. It's not too long, but I love it. I love the Pokemon Trading Card Game in the first place, and this is just a great way to play it. I wish... Okay, so I know they added a bunch of other ways to play the Pokemon Trading Card games, like the Pocket version, and you can play online and in person, but I wish they'd make another game like this. I just, give us a set of Pokemon cards. I mean, even, if they just remade this game, or just gave us Pokemon, the 152, or the first 151, and just kind of, based off that, I think that'd be fun, honestly. I would play it. Tetris DX, this is great. Tetris DX is such a unique version of Tetris. If you like Tetris, you'll like this. Yeah. Mario Tennis, this is very similar to the, Mario Golf game, except it's tennis. And tennis is not always better than golf in some sorts, because this is limited by its hardware, but this is a good tennis game. It is. And it's an even better RPG. So, give it a shot. Camelot makes some good games. Dragon Warrior Monsters. Okay, so Dragon Warrior Monsters is a fun game series. I've played the first one. I never beat it because it's hard, and I was younger, but I like them. I think it's fun. It's like, what if Dragon Warrior but Pokemon? And so it's interesting. You get to capture different Pokemon or monsters, you get to put them on your team, and you get to use them. I enjoy it. I think it's a fun game. I highly suggest taking a look at it. Dragon Warrior 3, again, they just remade this game, and it's still fun. It's still a fun game. It's classic, less confusing. But the Dragon Quest games are fantastic, okay? Dragon Warrior. That's my phone. Ignore it. ADHD alarms. But yeah, I highly suggest taking a look at these games. Honestly, playing them on the Game Boy Color on your phone is probably the best way to take a look at them. Super Mario Deluxe. This took the first game and put it into gameplay. And it took the Lost Levels. And they added like some like level selection, and that's kind of cool. Screen Crunch. Next. Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, Tara's Adventure, and Kobe's Journey. This is great. This is even better than the original. Like, a lot better than the original. I like the monsters in Dragon Quest. And I think that's the whole point. People saw the Dragon Warrior games and said, these monsters are awesome. And then everyone went, cool. And then the merch for those monsters sold. So then they went, Pokemon did well, let's do this. And it's great. I think these games are fantastic. Metal Gear Solid. The Metal Gear Solid games are fantastic, and the ports are even better. I love the coloring scheme on here. I like the NES games, and the MSX is probably the best version to play these, but good luck finding an MSX copy, and, I mean, I guess, yeah, just emulate it on your computer. Dun, 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 dun. But I love these games. I love classic Metal Gear Solid, okay? Yes. Well, okay, so I love classic Metal Gear games, okay? I think this is a port of the Metal Gear Solid game on... Yeah. So this is a port of the original Metal Gear game, or Metal Gear Solid game, not the Metal Gear games, but I love the classic Metal Gear games, okay? So this port takes a really good game that I've never played, and makes it the style I love, which is like, okay, so cat's out of the bag. I've never played the Metal Gear Solid games, and the reason why is because I don't like stealth games with bad load times. Stealth games with good load times, I can just not stealth and just keep reloading. And it's the same thing with this game. I just save state before doing something stupid. But also, I'm good at these stealth games. I have no patience, guys. What are you expecting of me? Wario Land 2. Yeah, okay. Wario Land 1 is confusing as heck. Wario Land 2 is also confusing as heck. They make them puzzle platformers, and okay, they're good, but sometimes you might have to look up what to do. Or you're just good at games and you don't have to. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad at them. Wario Land 3, it's just better than 2. Pokemon Crystal. Okay, now we're getting to the top 5, and yeah, you're gonna see your classic. Pokemon Crystal, fantastic game. Everything about it is great. I think, I mean, like if they put Sun and Moon, Gold and Silver, above this, I don't know. But here's the thing: they added a whole other section in these games. Yeah, I like these games. I like playing Nuzlocke. I like every once in a while doing a randomizer Nuzlocke. I don't love them. And a lot of times my issue with running through these games is sometimes I just know that I'm going to beat the game, and I'm just like, what's the point of continuing? I'm going to beat it. So, like, Nuzlocke are fun, and playing the game normally just sounds weird nowadays. Like, if I'm not doing a Nuzlocke or a challenge run, I don't know if I could play through the game normally. They're RPGs, right? But, like, Pokemon's not an RPG. Like, it is... Like, 100% Pokemon's an RPG. But, like... My brain doesn't think that way. It's like, no, this is just Pokemon, right? Okay, they put Gold and Silver above it. I don't know. Like, I think Crystal's better. Yeah, okay, Oracle of Seasons, above Oracle of Ages, or below Oracle of Ages, I agree. So, I think Seasons was the action and Origin, Ages was the puzzle. Sorry about that. My cat decided to be a spaz. She just came up from behind my table and started scratching on the window. Had to pause it there. Oracle Ages, though, is better than Seasons. I think they're both good, but Seasons focuses on the combat, which is kind of like okay, and Ages focuses on puzzles, which is better. So, and I like time travel more than Seasons based. But they're both fantastic games. Highly suggest playing both of them. And, okay, yeah, number 1 being Link's Awakening DX makes perfect sense. I think this game is amazing. I think everything about it is great. I think the remake is fun, too. Everything about this game is great. Here comes my cat again. Sorry, again, to the headphone users. My cat is annoying. Down you go. I love her, though. Like, a lot. Yeah, the top 3 being Zelda games doesn't surprise me, and the top 5 being Pokemon and Zelda games doesn't surprise me, okay? But yeah, like, I mean, what else is there to say about these games that hasn't already been said? They're Zelda games. They're fantastic. Like, there's very few bad Zelda games. I think 2 is the only one that's bad. Not talking about the CDI games. Anyway, this is a 10 out of 10 game. I mean, review 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Yeah. But yeah, I think the fun part about this is going back to like 50 and looking at these games that aren't the top 5 here. Like, these 5 are here. Wario Land is good. The Metal Gear Solid, like, even 8 and down, like, Metal Gear Solid is really good. You probably never knew about that. The Monster Warrior games, if you never knew that they were ported, check them out. Mario Bros. Deluxe is fine. It's probably an interesting way to play both games, honestly. But the Dragon Warrior games on here is really cool, putting those on here. But then even like, okay, so maybe you've heard about the Camelot Mario games, but if you haven't, take a look at them. Tetris Deluxe is interesting. So there's games in here that you probably know about, but there's also ones that you just like, when you start getting back to like the beginning, talking about stuff like the Duke Nukem game and the Perfect Dark game, and like the classic old Harry Potter and Dragon Ball Z RPGs or River King games. It's fun to see these like hidden gems that you can try out. And I highly suggest playing any game on this list, because I think they're fun. I'll leave a link down in the description below. If the list is ever different, it's because, as I mentioned, and they have changed it up on me, they do update this regularly. So this was updated January 3rd. And prior, number 50 wasn't actually Mr. Driller. Number 50 was Lara Croft, a Tomb Raider game. And I played the Tomb Raider game, and I thought it was fine. It's very confusing, and I don't really know what you're doing in it, but like, once you know what you're doing, you just kind of go through the dungeons. I never beat it because I got bored eventually. So I guess there's a reason they took it off the list. But it was on the list at one point. So, yeah. But that's about it. Peace.